I'm Laura Ingraham, and this is the Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. Grocery store shelves laid bare, thanks to the log jams at our biggest ports. The cost of renting a home or an apartment soaring. An energy crisis made worse by Biden's climate agenda. It threatens to bring down the global economy. And now Politico revealing that neither Biden nor his team apparently saw any of this coming. Political peril that Biden didn't see coming is called inflation. But Biden's not just asleep at the wheel, he's putting us to sleep too. I think he nodded off where I did a couple of separate times today when Biden was in my home state of Connecticut pushing his reckless spending plan despite all the soaring inflation.
The world is watching. Autocrats believe that the world is moving so rapidly that democracies cannot generate consensus quickly enough to get things done. Not a joke. Show the world that American democracy works.
Huh? What? He's already president, in case he doesn't know, which maybe he doesn't know. Then I went into REM cycle when he tried his usual whisper routine to sell the massive tax hikes.
I don't think we should punish anybody, but just pay your fair share. Just pay your fair share.
But then, 10 minutes later, that strange oratorical tick resurfaced.
I'm glad they made a profit. Keep people employed. I mean that sincerely. But pay your fair share. Just pay a decent portion.
Now, Biden, of course, took no questions. He ran off stage, sprinkled the speech with words like literally and no joke and for real, man. Look, in all seriousness here, what's wild about how things have cratered is that the same media who thought they were helping Biden by not aggressively covering his agenda and his administration's conflicts of interest, the media have actually helped dig the hole that Biden's now standing in. Same for his party leaders on Capitol Hill, and throw in the Federal Reserve while you're at it. Now, not only did all of them downplay inflation, they all essentially encouraged the piling on of more spending and more debt, the exact opposite of what we should be doing now. And now, the one Democrat who did care, former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers, is speaking out.
We have a generation of central bankers who are defining themselves by their wokeness. They're defining themselves as by how socially concerned they are.
Well, he's right about that, but he didn't quite go far enough. Biden's puppeteers deserve a lot of blame here, including Chief of Staff Ron Klain. He's responsible. And by the way, that's the same Ron Klain who just revealed what he really thinks of the pain people are feeling from that high cost of living. He liked a tweet calling inflation and supply chain chokeholds high-class problems. What a moron. Meanwhile, Biden is just kind of shuffled from one lame, controlled event to another, always surrounded by his protective press cocoon. This bunch Biden's got running our country isn't just asleep at the wheel. It's not even in the car. Yesterday, we discovered that Mayor Pete is on paternity leave. Okay, oh, big deal. I mean, people take maternity and paternity leave, okay? Big deal. It's not like he has one of those important cabinet positions. I mean, he's only the Secretary of Transportation when we have historic delays at major ports in the United States. Remember, his big solution, though, for addressing the jam-ups? Apprenticeships. Now, the public considers these people such inconsequential figures at this point. I don't think anyone really even noticed that Buttigieg has been on baby leave since mid-August. But it sure tells you a lot about their sense of urgency about the problems directly affecting the American people, the working people who are really hurting. Are any major media concerned about absentee cabinet secretaries when they're actually in Biden's administration? Because when Melania was off the scene for a few days, it was wall to wall.
The last time we caught a glimpse of her was on May 10th. There's been a lot of questions about her surgery, her time at Walter Reed, and now her invisibility.
It was a legitimate media story.
If the First Lady or the person who's standing in for First Lady disappears, you want to know where she is.
Now, what you should be optimistic about here is that after 10 months of Biden, common sense Americans are waking up. And I want you to keep your eye on Virginia's governor's race, This could be the bellwether you've been waiting for. A new Fox News poll has Democrat Terry McAuliffe with just a slight lead over Republican Glenn Youngkin. But that's not McAuliffe's only problem. According to the New York Times, he's straining to motivate the liberal voters in an increasingly blue state. Hey, Virginia, it's time to save yourselves. If you let another 4 years go by under a Democrat governor, you're going to see the terrible trend lines for schools, energy prices, and crime continue. Look at how far also that the left pushed Newsom to go after he beat that recall. Imagine where Terry is going to take the state if he's given the green light. Radicals rule the Democrat Party. Don't forget, it's not Bill Clinton's anymore. Democrats do know it is looking grim out there in the Old Dominion. That makes me smile. Just today, a Loudoun County school board member resigned, and the superintendent, who allegedly helped cover up those sexual assaults there, issued an after-the-fact apology. Well, that's nice. Very special. But it's only because this show and others did the job the pro-Biden media refused to do. Here's hoping this obvious example of keister covering during a tightly contested election backfires as well.